Hey, have I got an awesome podcast for you today. If you are ready to take control of your life, take back all the things that you feel that have been stolen from you, I am going to share with you today 7 steps to healing your feelings. Want to know more? Stay tuned. What I'm going to share with you today is 7 simple to follow steps that are going to start you on your emotional healing journey. I have been super busy lately, so forgive me for not having for having a couple of weeks off from podcasts, but I have been doing a lot of work. I've been doing a lot of workshops with people, a lot of one-on-ones with people. I just haven't had time to help you guys with podcasts and sharing bits and pieces. So forgive me. I endeavor right now to become accountable and say I'm going to make sure that I'm at least releasing 1 podcast a week for you guys. I know I've got a lot of people out there that listen to these podcasts, and I know that they're really helping. So I have to create some space in my very busy world with my 4 children, my business where I'm helping people become fearless and overcome pain of the past and doing emotional healing stuff. And so I really want to help as many people as I can possibly, and I know people do listen to my podcast, so I want to ask you to forgive me for being inconsistent, but I do make a promise that I will be much more consistent. And I am particularly excited about sharing this podcast because it's going to give you some tools and how to start to heal your feelings. Some of you may have gone through a relationship breakup, or you've come out of a job, or you've got a business partnership that might have broken down. Look, there's no end of things and issues and challenges that we face that will create emotional pain. But what happens is sometimes we go through that emotional pain, but we get stuck. We get stuck in the pain, and through our subconscious mind of where our memory sits in our soul, sometimes it's like a rudder on a ship, right? If the rudder is broken, you're not going to go in the direction where you want to go in life, okay? So your rudder is like your soul. If your soul is broken, or it's been injured or damaged by a circumstance or an event, by a relationship breakdown, the rudder is not going to function properly. Your soul is not going to function properly. What is your soul? Your soul is your mind, your will, emotions. It's where your memory sits. It's also where your personality and character comes out of, right? So if you've had an event in your life which has been traumatic and painful, and there's some emotional baggage that you've had to walk through, somewhere deep inside your soul, that emotional damage is like the rudder of your ship. It is actually not pointing you in the right direction. You're actually slightly off tilt in life, and it's slightly go in the wrong direction. And so I want to help you heal your soul, get rid of any emotional baggage that you might have. And I also want to get you on the right path to the calling of your life, where you feel your purpose is, and just get you back to happiness. Sometimes these events and these circumstances just steal our joy, and so we're not even happy anymore. We're just like existing. We're just like floating around the ocean, not going in any direction. And I believe, I love the people that I work with, and I love helping people who want my help. And so if that's you and you want my help, look, let me help you. I've got some stuff that I know that really works. I've had, hundreds and, thousands probably testimonies of people that I've worked with, and this stuff works. This stuff helps people. So I encourage you to keep listening to my podcasts. Put the time aside, invest into yourself, invest into your healing, invest into getting your soul right, because out of your soul will determine the direction in life you're going. And you're either sailing into the sunset of happiness, or actually you're heading into another storm. And I want to make sure you head into the sunset, okay? So here we go. Here's my 7 steps easy steps that you can apply to your own life right now, today, if you want to create change, if you want to, sail into the sunset. So number one, you need to have awareness. We don't know what we don't know. And if we don't know what we don't know, we're going to stay in the same spot. So when I talk about awareness, and especially self-awareness, we find it very easy to throw out judgment on others, because sometimes we can see what other people can't see. Like, we can look at someone's life and we go, oh yeah, they just need to do this, 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 and that'll help them. But they might not know that, but we do. But let's slip it around. So maybe we don't have any awareness. We don't know the things that we're saying, doing, acting, feeling, and behaving could be dysfunctional in our own world. So number one step that I want you to do is become self-aware. Stop looking at other people. Stop judging other people. Look inside your own soul, your own mind, your own emotions, your own behaviors, and seeing how effective or ineffective they are in your own world. So step number one, you must have self-awareness. All right? Good. Number two, you need to know how your body manifests emotion. All right, so you're like, oh my gosh, Dawn, what on earth are you talking about? So again, it's about awareness, but also about being aware about your body. Your body sends you messages. So let me give you an example so you can kind of understand what I'm raving on about. So when we're embarrassed, what happens to our body when we're embarrassed? Okay, our cheeks go red, our breathing might be a little bit shallower, and we're like, we're a bit tongue-tied. And so when we're feeling embarrassed, there is a physical manifestation of that emotion. Or if we're feeling anxious, there is also a physical manifestation. So if we're feeling anxious, what happens? Your heart's racing, your breathing is shallow, you might start sweating profusely. There could be all sorts of things that are happening in our bodies when there is an emotion being felt. So number two is basically knowing how your body is responding to the emotions. Now, I'm not going to get into this too much now, but what you do need to know that every emotion creates a chemical reaction in the body, good or bad. So when I'm happy, I'm producing a chemical that sits in the bodies. When I'm sad, my body is producing a chemical that sits in the body. When I'm angry, it's producing a chemical. When I'm anxious and fearful, I'm producing a chemical. One is a stress hormone, okay, cortisol. One is a stress hormone, the other is a happy hormone, which is called serotonin. Both of these have an effect on the body, good or bad. You need to understand this. If you have had long periods of sickness, if you've been sad for a long period of time, that sadness is producing chemicals, and the sadness will move into depression. Once you're in depression, if untreated and not taken care of, it will move into hopelessness. When we're moving into hopelessness, we're going deeper and deeper into the pit. So early on, you need to know how your body is feeling and how it's responding to different emotions, okay? Number three, allowing your feelings to be. So sometimes, I'll give you an example. When we are going through grief, okay, let's say we're losing a loved one, or we know that a loved one is, coming to the end of their days. What we'll do, rather than facing the grief and accepting the grief and allowing the grief to take its process, through our world, we will avoid it. We will suppress the emotion. We will dig it down deep where we can't feel it, and then we will get super busy, and we will start filling our lives with all this other stuff, and we won't ever allow the grief to take its natural process. Grief has to go through a process. Everybody's grief is different. Some people become angry. Some people become disillusioned. All of these things, okay? But you must allow yourself to feel the emotion and let it work its process through your soul and your body. Trying to suppress the emotion will only make it manifest itself in another way. I'm not going to get into psychosomatics, but basically when we suppress our emotions, often it'll try and come out in another way through the body, and the body will get sick. All right, so accepting your feelings and allowing them to take their natural process is very wise for you to do. So allowing your feelings to take their process. Number 4, expression. You need to express your feelings. Hiding your feelings and digging them down deep is not good for you. Okay, there again, let's take an offense. If you get offended at somebody over something very little, if you don't deal with it and address it, that very little thing, you know how they say, I'm making a mountain out of a molehill, but it used to be a molehill, but I didn't address it as a molehill. Now it's a mountain, and so you need to make sure that if you have something that has offended you or doesn't sit right with you, it's okay for you to talk about it to that person. And when you talk about it in a mature, emotionally mature way to someone in love, their response is going to be different. If you actually left it and now it's a mountain, now it's a giant, and you're like some raven lunatic that is just yelling and screaming because you didn't deal with it when it was little. You waited until it was huge and it had to come out, and it came out in anger. All right, so you guys need to know that it's okay to express your feelings and express how you're feeling very early on. Do it as a molehill, not when it becomes a mountain. Number 5, I want you to be able to release negative feelings. So let's say, you've had a scenario, you've got upset with somebody. Sometimes it's wise to vent to someone safe. You've got to have safe people in your world. So taking that information, saying, okay, and this is not, I'm not talking about gossip. This is not about gossip. This is going to a safe place, which is highly confidential, where you can take this information and you can allow the release of your negative feelings. Okay, you can talk about it. This is how it made me feel. This is what happened. And these are the scenarios, and these are my emotions. And it's like a dump. It's like an emotion dump. You've got to get rid of all the negative emotional feelings, drop them out, get rid of them, and get release. Because again, if you don't and you harbor those negative feelings, guess what? Those negative feelings aren't hurting the people that have offended you, or the issue, or the negative experience you've had. They are hurting you because you're still carrying them, and they are burdening you. Okay, if you're waking up in the morning and you feel like crap, and you're feeling heavy and weighty, and there's somewhere inside of you, there's some negative emotions that you're still carrying, and you need to get rid of them. My advice to you is, if you're definitely, that is you need to seek a counselor, a qualified counselor, a psychologist, or someone very, very safe who will receive what you're saying, and they will just be like a sounding board for you. All right. And trust me, sometimes when you release this stuff, especially if you've hung on to it for a long time, you will feel so much better. Okay, so number 5 was you must release your negative feelings. Number 6, when you have released it, I want you to replace your negative feelings with positive ones. Negative feelings, again, when you're carrying the burden of negative feelings and negative emotions, it's not hurting other people, but it's only hurting yourself. It means that your rudder is broken and you're probably going to end up in the wrong direction. So I want you to start to release those negative ones and start to think about positive stuff. Start to get your eyes off the problem and your eyes onto the solution. It's important that you create space in your world to focus on the good stuff. Focus on the good things that have happened in that day. Focus on the good friends that you've got. Focus on the good conversations. Sometimes when we've got emotional damage, we always tend to lean towards all the bad stuff. Well, this happened again, and I'm the victim, and I'm to blame, and it's bad. So I don't want you to go there. That's the wrong direction. Remember, I said your udder, that's your udder taking you to the storm. I don't want you to go to the storm. I want you to come to that beautiful horizon, and start to think and focus on the good stuff. What you focus on will expand. So focus on the positive things that have happened. At the end of each day, I want you to think, okay, what was the one good thing that happened to me today? And if you look hard enough, you will find it. And that is what I want you to focus on. All right, number 7, rejoice, rejoice, rejoice. Even though a bad thing's happened, I don't want you to look at it as a bad thing. I want you to look at it as an opportunity to learn and grow. So step 7 is all about rejoicing in all things, no matter if it felt bad or it felt good. Rejoice in it, because even if it was bad, it was an opportunity to learn and grow. Celebrate life. Celebrate the pain, because out of the pain, you know what? I can stand here right now, and as you know, you guys as my witness, every painful thing I've ever gone through has made me who I am today. I would not be helping the people that I'm helping if had I have not gone through painful seasons in my life. I am grateful for the painful season. I wasn't at the time, so if you're going through this painful season right now, you probably think I'm talking another language, but trust me, I'm out the other side of a lot of painful seasons, and I look back and I think, thank God, because those things made me, those areas made me who I am. They taught me, they showed me who I was in the face of adversity. Strength was forged, passion was forged in those very, very dark times. And I'm very grateful, and I look back and I rejoice. So I'm saying that to you today. Step 7 is rejoice, because everything you're going through is growing you, and you're learning something more about yourself, who you are, and what you're capable of in life. So there we go, guys. Those are my 7 tips, my 7 steps towards emotional healing. Look, if you're ready to take that step to go deeper with me, I do have a 12-week program that for emotional healing. We go deeper into 12 weeks of emotional healing. I've had people who've gone through my workshops who've had ridiculous results, who've booked themselves into rehab, who've marriages have got back together and have been restored. People have launched out in businesses. People have launched out in writing books. People have broken the shackles of fear and worry and anxiety and pain, and they've got liberated to step into the next big thing of their life. And if that's you, if that's what you want, if you want to step into the next big thing for your life, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a business, whether it's a new job, or you just want to get rid of the burdens of the sadness and just go, you know what, I want to live life to full throttle. I want to get in, I want to experience adventure and fun and all of that, then, let me help you. I've got some stuff that helps people. I've got some tools. I'm a qualified counselor, a qualified coach, and this is what I do. This is what I do in life. I help people get rid of fear out of their life and deadly emotions. So if that's you, look, message me through podcast or through this podcast, or find me on Facebook, Dawn Osborne, Fierce Women. Find me Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on all the social media platforms. Hunt me down, send me a message, and sign up for the 12-week journey to emotional healing, because you will not be disappointed. I can help you. All right, guys, you have an amazing day, and I'll catch you next time, guaranteed next week, for another podcast. Bye-bye.